For a long time, I used to make what-if Pokemon regions on my channel where I would take different places from around the world and think about what they could be like as Pokemon regions. I had to put those on hold for a while due to some real-world stuff, but I figured since I haven't been able to make one for a while, I would at least tide you guys over by going through some old region ideas I had brainstormed to varying degrees, but never made into actual full-fledged videos. Okay, jumping in here, one thing I was planning for a while that ultimately fell by the wayside was remake videos for my Greece and Australia Pokemon regions. If you've seen my regional videos since the beginning, you'll know that they started out pretty small and concise, most not going over 20 minutes, and then they gradually morphed into 2-hour-long behemoths. Australia and Greece were made pretty early on and didn't get the love or quite frankly obsessiveness that my regional videos would come to be known for, and I really wanted to go back and do them more in depth. As for specific ideas, I don't think I would change that much with them. I think the core concepts were mostly fine, Greece especially. I still love the idea of gym leaders being based on Greek gods, though I would maybe shrink the Australia region down a little bit or focus on a specific part of the continent. What I ended up doing in that video is I used the entire country plus Tasmania, and I feel that that might have been just a little bit too large, but really, other than that, I'd probably just expand and build on the concepts I already had. After I made my Scandinavia Pokemon region, I fell in love with the folklore and mythology of the area. Originally, I wanted to do a Finland region as kind of like an expansion to it, and that idea gradually evolved into an Iceland Pokemon region. The premise is that this will be the homeland of the Viking evil team from the Scandinavia region, and you will get to explore a region steeped in their traditions and culture. A lot more Nordic legends and mythology would be present in the Pokemon designs and trainers, and there'd be a dash of Gaelic influence as well. I also wanted to lean a bit more into the volcanic activity of IRL Iceland and perhaps tie that into an ancient legendary's awakening or an evil team's plot. The last idea I'll go over is certifiably insane, but was a lot closer to becoming a reality than I want to admit. So there was a time when I was brainstorming what-if regions based on fictional countries and properties. So things like what if Middle-earth was a Pokemon region, what if the Mushroom Kingdom was a Pokemon region, etc, etc. Most of the ideas got pretty wacky and didn't really work all that well, but one of them fit pretty decently, all things considered, and that was Hyrule from the Legend of Zelda series. I would have started by making an amalgam of locations and places featured throughout not just Hyrule, but the entire Legend of Zelda series. Hyrule Castle, Kakariko Village, Castletown, Death Mountain, Lake Hylia, all the iconic places you think of when it comes to Zelda. From there, I would have moved on to brainstorming different characters as trainers. For example, I think Link would be the player character, and Zelda and Ganondorf would be his rivals. Lastly, I would have turned different monsters and creatures seen in the franchise into Pokemon, which in some cases means simplifying or making their designs a bit more approachable, especially some of the bosses. The three big ideas I had besides turning something like an Octorok into a generic water type were actually for the starters, and this also tied back into the Triforce and the Zelda Link Ganondorf trio. There would be a horse based on Epona, representing the Triforce of Courage and being Grass Fairy type, there would be a pig that becomes a Fire Dark type to embody Ganon and power, and then Wisdom would be a Water Flying type Loftwing, reminiscent of the one in Skyward Sword that Zelda has. Anyways, would you guys want to see any of these I talked about today turned into full-fledged videos? I can't promise I'll make any of them, or if I do, that they'll come out fast. But I still enjoy making regional videos, even if I can't pour the time or resources into them like I used to. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I'll catch you later.